What's going on YouTube? My name's Kyle with Trail Kings Off-Road, and today I'm going to be talking about solar battery generators. The reason we're going to be going over this is because there's so many on the market. Which one do you use for your off-road adventures now? Alright, so first on the list, we're going to be going over the Bluetti AC50S. Now this is a small, compact 500 watt-hour battery. This is one of the best batteries I think that you can get for a budget, as far as bang for your buck, wattage, portability, and user friendliness. There are a few drawbacks that I don't like about this battery. We'll go ahead and just start with those, get them out of the way. One drawback that I'm not a fan of, and most people aren't either, is when you turn your LCD screen on, sorry for the glare, all you really get is your battery level in 5 different increments, your input wattage, your DC output wattage, and your AC output wattage. That's it. It's pretty simple. So if you're looking for something that has a lot more battery details, such as percentage-wise, how long an appliance will run for, at that wattage, you're not really going to get that with the Bluetti AC50S. Other than that, that's really the only thing that I really don't like. As far as ports, you have 4 USB 5 volts. You have a USB-C with a 45 watt output, 220 volt AC outlets with a 300 watt capacity. You've got your standard 12 volt cigarette outlet charger, 2 12 volt DC outputs. On the top, I really like this, is you have a wireless charger for your phone. Now, granted, wireless charging isn't the fastest. This says 10 watts, so it could be slower, but it is nice to have at camp, or if you're working on something, you can throw your phone up there real quick, get some charge, and not have to worry about having your charging cord. I really love the handle on this, because when you're using it, great, you've got a handle, but once you're done, you can go ahead, fold it up, and it's completely out of the way, and it makes packing this really nice. You don't have any awkward handles that are just kind of protruding out. And yeah, as far as the back side goes, so you do have a nice floodlight with a bright, a little less bright. You have a SOS, and that's it. During the night, it does get pretty bright, surprisingly. I've used this a couple times working on my truck at night, and it does the job. Then you have a max 120 watt input charger. As far as weight goes, I believe this is between 16 and 17 pounds, so it's actually really light compared to some of the other solar batteries on the market right now. Or Amazon will do flash sales, but for the price, you actually get quite a lot. Sorry for all these bugs out here. But yeah, this is a great starter battery, one-day trips. You're not really using it for a lot of power-hungry appliances. Mainly charge like your phone, laptops, drone. You can do a fridge on it. Using this on my fridge, I can get about a day's use of running it constantly before the battery gets depleted. What if you need something a little bit bigger? Mind you, this is 500 watts, so keep that in mind. All right, moving up the list, we have the Bluetti EB240. Now, this is a lot bigger of a battery than the AC50S. AC50S, like I said, weighed between 16 17 pounds. This one right here weighs 48. So it is a lot bigger in the weight category. As far as ports, it's pretty similar to the AC50S. You've got your same 4 USB ports. You have your USB-C, 45 watt max, a 12 volt DC outlet, And then on the back, you have your two AC 110 volt AC outlets with your fan. The difference between these though on the EB240 and the AC50S, on the AC50S you've only got 300 watts that you're working with. With this one you're looking at 1,000 watts, so more than 3 times the amount of power. So if you're using an appliance that requires 400 watts, your AC50S is not going to be able to cut it, whereas this EB240 will. Now when it comes down to display, we're basically in the same spot as where we were with the AC50S. Nothing fancy here. You've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 increment markers indicating your charge level. You have your input wattage, your output DC, and your output AC. That's about it. I really wish Bluetti would do a better job with their batteries as far as the display. It would be really nice to see them do a percentage instead of a 5-bar incrementer, but it is what it is. Maybe someday they'll be able to work that out. Now you might be thinking, well, this is a lot bigger of a battery, takes up more space, a lot heavier, it's not as packable as the AC50S, so why would somebody want to go this route? Well, the reason that I love this battery so much is this is a 2,400 watt hour battery. So this is almost 5 times more the amount of power than the AC50S. So whereas my AC50S will power my fridge for about 24 hours before it goes out, this one would be able to do it for about 5 days before running out. And that's just on the battery alone, not using any help from solar, which we'll get into in a little bit. You got this huge handle up here. It's like a suitcase, briefcase almost. So it's not as packable as the AC50. However, it is still pretty slim. I'll go ahead and show you guys how I use this in my truck in a second. And it really doesn't take up too much space. All right, moving on, our last battery, we have the Goal Zero Yeti 3000X. Now this is a massive battery. This is a 3,000 watt hour battery, so almost about 600 watts more than the 240. As far as weight goes, this is a whopping 78 pounds. It's a heavy battery, way more than the EB240. However, this does have a couple nicer features. Also, this will be a lot more of a use for keeping at your house, if you're in a van, and also if you're not really moving it around too much. This is going to be the battery you want to keep in your garage, in a closet somewhere for emergencies, and not really have to move it around too much. As far as our ports on here, we do have a 50 volt input and then also the Anderson port. This, I want to say, will get you up to about 250 to 300 watts input. I'll go ahead and correct myself if I'm wrong. You have your standard 12 volts like you did on the AC50. You have your 12 volt cigarette outlet, and then also a 12 volt DC Anderson plug. As far as AC outlets, you have two. You only get 2 USB ports and then the 2 USB-C ports. So you do get more USB-C, but fewer of your USB-A ports. When it comes down to the screen on this, but this has a lot better of a display as far as details that you're getting. You're gonna get your inputs and your output wattage. You'll also get the incremental battery bar, but you'll also get the percentage. As small as a feature as it really is nice to have. You'll also get a section right here, so when you plug in an appliance and it starts drawing your power, it's going to tell you how long your battery will last while running that appliance. Now you might be wondering, well, the EB240 is 600 watts less, but it's also a lot less heavy. It's a lot more portable. Why would somebody need this compared to the 240? Well, if you're somebody that is needing a lot of power for appliances such as a home fridge, certain power tools, this one you're gonna get 2,000 watts for your output, whereas the 240 you're only getting 1,000 watts. So for those really high powered appliances, this is gonna be your best bet with 3,500 watt surge. So as far as power goes, you'll have a lot of power to play with on this. Another really nice feature about the Goal Zero Yeti 3000 is it does come with Wi-Fi capability. So if I wanted to, I can go ahead and set this up to pair with an app on my phone, and whether I'm in the same room as it or if I'm at work and this is at home, if I have things plugged into this, I can control the outlets from my phone remotely. I can see the different battery charge levels, all the details as far as the input and output, and then see the statistics as far as how much battery I've been using, and be able to control certain features such as battery save mode, performance mode, all that fun stuff. Is it a necessity feature? No. Is it nice to have? Absolutely. Use them for? I'm not sponsored, like I said, with any of these companies, so all of these are completely unbiased. Now, when it comes down to the one that I use the most, however, I would have to say it's the Bluetti EB240. I use that on a daily basis. It's the onboard battery for my Tacoma. I use it to power my fridge all day, every day. I have it hooked up to 200 watt solar panels on the top of my truck, and it's getting constant power. I think I would have to plug it into a wall outlet while using the solar maybe once a month, if I'm just powering my fridge. And I've never had any issues of it. I've never had any times where it's run out of battery on me and I haven't been able to recharge it. The recharge time on it is pretty good. Using the wall outlet, I want to say takes about 4 to 5 hours. Using the solar, if it's a bright sunny day, no clouds, I can get it in about 6 to 7 hours. So I love it. I'll go ahead and show you my setup, and if you guys like it, cool. If not, I'd love to hear what your guys' setups are, or if you guys have any other comments. All right, so starting up at the top, you can see that I have two 100 watt solar panels mounted to the up top Overland rack. I bought these panels off of Amazon. I can't even remember the name. I think it says up here I want to say it's Iceco Power. Nothing crazy, no name brand or anything like that. It came with these little brackets. Wasn't too hard to install. As far as noise wise, this really doesn't affect my road noise at all. I don't really get too much rattling either. So I don't really have any complaints about them. As far as the wiring goes, I have it set up to run through the back of the truck, behind the glass, and then through the air vent in the back of the truck. And you can see right through here is where I have my solar charger cable come out. I have it hooked up into the battery right here that just goes behind the seat, and it's always getting battery. Right now the battery's fully charged, so it's not going to be taking in any wattage. And then I have my fridge over here that will go ahead and run full time, and it just plugs right into the DC outlet spot right there. Once this goes back here, I don't really move it. Doesn't really rattle. It fits really good behind the Tacoma back seat. and I don't have any issues about it. So there you have it. That's my solar setup. That's the batteries that I have and that I use. Like I said, I love the EB240. I also really love the AC50. It makes a great battery for weekend trips, going to the beach for the day, going out on a trail for the day, and it's got plenty of power. Would I use that for a few day trip? Probably not, just because I have a lot of appliances such as batteries, cameras, laptops, my fridge that I use a lot of power for, and the 240 does its job and I love it. The Bluetti 3000 I love to keep at home. It's great backup in case power goes out. We can still keep the fridge running, power some fans, whatever you need to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was able to give some insight on some of the batteries out there and the different solar setups that you can do. I'd love to hear what you guys use. If you guys have any comments or tips or whatever you'd like to share, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And if you like the video, go ahead and subscribe. It would really help us out. And we'll be putting out some more content soon. So I'll see you guys in the next video.